Elite Facts presents
8 reasons why America should be scared with Donald Trump as president. So it's pretty much common knowledge that the certified living Cheeto, Donald Trump, has been elected the 45th president of the United States of America. And needless to say, his election has shook the entire world. Listen, regardless of who won the election, it's safe to say that everyone lost. Yes, Hillary was a bad presidential candidate. However, Trump is most certainly worse. The fact that he actually won is still crazy to think, considering all the ludicrous things he said during his rallies and all the things he had said and done before becoming a candidate in this presidential election. Now, will he be a good president? It's really hard to say, but here's a list of things that should cause concern to those living in the United States. 8. The economy. America has already seen an effect to the economy, and Trump's not even in office yet. The same night that Trump was elected to the office, the US dollar decreased in value, and that could be a sign of things to come. It's been predicted, and it's expected, that Trump will drive America's economy into the ground. Don't believe us? Here's his first 100 days plan. He plans to get rid of Obamacare, so if you're poor and can't afford health care, tough crap. He plans on refusing visa applications to countries that won't take back criminal immigrants. And almost instantly, after he was elected president of the United States, the value of the American dollar dropped. Oh, and let's not forget that Trump doesn't believe in global warming, meaning more greenhouse gases will be released into the atmosphere thanks to Trump's disregard for the environment.
7.
He will be the catalyst for World War III. Look, Donald Trump is insane. We're sorry to say it, but he is. He's not making friends with anyone. Mexico, China, and pretty much every Muslim country has come under the fire of Trump's comments. Sure, he can paint it up as nicely as he wants to by saying bullcrap like, "I'm not racist," or "I like China." But the damage has already been done. Not to mention his hatred for the Muslim religion will surely stir up a lot of trouble with Muslim countries. To make a long story short, he's not making friends with anyone. Okay, well, he is making progress with Vladimir Putin, but Trump is bound to say something that'll burn that bridge too. And to be fair, if Hillary had gotten into office, she immediately would have enforced a no-fly zone over Syria, which would have caused Russia to go to war with the US. Right now, all of this is simply speculation, so we'll just have to wait and see.
6.
He's racist. Another big part of Trump's campaign was his focus on immigration. Sure, this is a subject that has been brought up in the past by other presidents and public figures in all different countries. However, Trump's way of addressing the situation was almost like he was launching an attack on people of other races, religions, and nationalities. Examples of racism include Trump not condemning white supremacist organizations, stereotyping the Jewish religion, sharing a meme posted by a white supremacy group on Twitter, condoning the beating of a Black Lives Matter supporter during one of his rallies, being vocal about his negative opinions about the Muslim religion, and numerous tirades about the country of Mexico. These tirades include wanting to build a wall in order to keep them out and saying a judge is unable to be impartial in a case against him, claiming it's because the judge is of Mexican descent. It's just ridiculous.
5.
He only cares about himself, not America. Let's be honest, this whole campaign has just been an ego boost for Trump. Like, at this point, he's pretty much done it all. He's one of the richest men in America. He's a successful businessman, although he has filed for bankruptcy several times. We'll get to that next. He's had countless cameo roles in films and television shows, hosted an incredibly popular television show, The Apprentice, and is now the President of the United States of America. Everything he does is only for publicity and for profit. It's clear that he only cares about himself and no one else. He's a decent businessman, but a person who only seeks to profit for themselves should not be allowed to run a country.
4.
He's sexist. Much like racism and homophobia, Trump just has no respect whatsoever for groups of people who've worked so hard to make the world a more equal place. The best example of this was the news that broke only weeks before the election, where Trump was quoted as saying that he would grab women by the crotch. This wasn't the only case, however, as his disrespect towards women goes all the way back to the 1970s and 80s. A former employee stated that Trump kept a photo of her from when she was a few pounds heavier, and he would pull the photo out whenever she did something he didn't like. Let's also not forget the time in 1992 when he passed a 10-year-old girl and then said to his friend, quote, "I'm going to be dating her in 10 years. Can you believe it?" Bear in mind, he was 46 years old at the time, as if there was an excuse for it anyway. I mean, you can look for yourself, and you'll see many examples of him being disgustingly sexist.
3.
He went bankrupt several times. So pretty much one of the cornerstones of his campaign was that he's a suitable candidate to run the land of the free simply because he's a billionaire and knows how to run a conglomerate business. Well, you may want to look into his history as a businessman, because even though he's successful now, Trump has filed for bankruptcy on 4 different occasions. It's understandable that a business could go bankrupt once and then learn from their mistakes so that they could start working their way back up the corporate ladder. But 4 times? It's just ridiculous. The most infamous example dates back to 1991, when Trump invested $1 billion in the construction of the Trump Taj Mahal casino. Needless to say, 1 year later, the Trump Taj Mahal was $3 billion in debt. Sure, any business is expected to take a loss in their first year, but not $3 billion.
2.
He's as crooked as they come. Okay, this is kind of a given with any politician. Hell, just look at Hillary. Emails. However, it's never been as clear as it has been with Donald Trump. Just by looking at him, you can tell he's a crooked politician. If you've followed Trump for years, you may have noticed, in particular throughout his presidential campaign, that he has been more than just a little hypocritical. He'll say something completely opposite to what he has said previously. Take, for example, wage equality for women. He said he plans to bring women's wages up so that they're equal to how much men earn in the same position. However, in an earlier incident, when a young girl asked about a rise in women's wages, Trump said, quote, "That depends on if they do as good of a job as men." Or how about when he blasted companies for moving overseas for tax and business advantages, but has no problem using the American tax code to suit himself? Or what about the time he took shots at the 46% of American citizens who don't pay federal taxes, yet he himself hasn't paid federal income tax for nearly 20 years? Oh, and what about his claim that the Democrats lack any charitable causes, yet he hasn't done a single charitable act himself? We could honestly go on for days with this, but you get the picture. Sure, politicians lie all the time, but at least most of them have never been as blatant with their lies and manipulations and flip-flopping as Donald Trump has.
1.
He's just an idiot. We're sorry, but the man just can't be trusted to run a country. It's insane that he's made it all the way to the office of the President of the United States with all the dumbfounding crap spewed from his mouth over the last several years and leading right up to the election. Whether it was his immature acts during rallies, immature squabbles with other candidates, and don't get us wrong, Hillary has been guilty of this herself, not addressing the real issues at hand or not putting America before himself, when it comes to choosing between Trump or Hillary, he is without a doubt the worst candidate. Sure, Hillary is bad, and odds are we probably would have made a list based on her if she had won the election, but it has to be said that she is by far the lesser of 2 evils. Hopefully we're wrong and Trump actually does a good job running America. However, with all the issues we've listed, it's just hard to imagine.
Don't forget to like us and subscribe for more Elite Facts.